within 10 minutes. I want to close this class within 10 minutes because a lot of time we have taken to resolve the issues. Okay, the issues are nothing but simply this is called margin issues. That is very important in Python. So that margins is very important. So I have adjusted the both the methods. One is the constructor, that is the main constructor created for the main class. So one is this method. Both have under one line of margin. While loop, that is part of your method. This method. So these all instructions, they are part of while loop. So they come under while block. Okay. Now after that, the thread created for this thread counter, that is just beneath below of class. This we need to adjust. No any margin we need to provide here. The for loop also there is no margin, and thread created and thread started, they need to be put under for black. So then code is being executed. So now I told you that lock class, initially I implemented lock class. Lock class will permit only one thread will be executed. So synchronization properly being executed, thread being decremented. So one acquire method called implemented, and whenever that is what your release method, thread will be incremented. Then next thread is being taken. So as per the lock class statement, lock class will be used to permit only one thread will be executed at a time. But what about the semaphore class? So if I have used the semaphore class in place of lock class, this is the semaphore. In bracket, we need to pass a parameter integer value, that is a count value. Means this value indicates that how many threads will be restricted, how many threads will be permitted to um, how many threads will be permitted out of how many threads? 10 threads we have created in the for loop, 10 threads. Okay, so out of 10 threads, we are permitting only 4 threads, okay, to access the resources. That is, so now let us see what happened here. If I execute this code total, what happened? So down, come down, come down, come down. The clears, I want to clear here. So now close this one. Otherwise, okay, that is while loop. It continuously runs. Okay. You first you compile. Now try to understand here what is happening. Where is this starting point? Okay, it is continuously going on. I need to terminate this code first. While loop. Okay, you put this as comment section, then okay. Incremented to 3 to counter. Okay, you close this one. You again you start by, there is no any issue. Okay. So now you open this one, you come here. So now for the semaphore class, what happened, try to understand. If I run this code, so try to understand what is happening here. Firstly, we restricted to 4 threads. Where is that? I have passed in semaphore class, this count is equal to 4. So then what happened? Thread 1 started, counter decremented to 3, thread 2 started, thread 3 started. So up to how many threads we have given the permission? Only 4 threads will be permitted to access the resources. So once the thread 1 started, counter decremented to 3, thread 2 started, thread 3 started, now counter decremented to 2, okay, counter decremented to 1, okay, 3 threads started. So initial value is equal to 4, decremented by 1, 3, again decremented by 2. Now whenever thread 4 started, your counter decremented to what? 0. Okay. So then after that counter incremented to, okay, counter incremented because one thread, whenever thread releases that method, now counter incremented to 1. Okay. So again counter incremented to 2 because one more thread releases the method. Okay, lock. So here only out of 10 threads, only 4 threads permitted to access the resources. 4 threads. So whenever first thread started, so whenever it started, then it the thread gets the lock, means it that method is named acquire method. So it started that method. That moment, what happened? Your counter, counter, the counter decremented. Okay, only 4 threads are permitted. Then after, as the threads releasing the methods, so counter will be incremented. Okay, this is the story. So now I want to stop the class. Okay, we will meet on tomorrow. Okay, so same thing can be done for that is what also bounded semaphore. Simply you need to do what? Semaphore. If you want to do bounded semaphore, you simply use bounded semaphore. Within this, you need to pass the value as 4. Value as 4. Okay. The same syntax. You can now use that to compile the code. Okay. This is the class of how to create the thread counter, how the thread counter is being decremented and incremented. So for the lock class, semaphore class, and bounded semaphore class. Okay. Okay. Now, if you don't want to put this while loop, then you call this one, you close this code, you run this one again, because while loop, it is continuously going on. Okay, I have removed the while loop under comment section. So now this is okay. So because now I have removed I put the while loop under comment section. 10 threads created. Where is 10 threads means now 9 threads will be created. So 9 thread is what? First thread, thread 1 started. So it is decremented to 1 because when thread started, it calls the acquire method. So counter will be decremented. Initial counter value is equal set to 4. I have passed that value in default, that is where is our default constructor here. Okay, so it is decremented to 3. Next, second thread started, decremented to 1 because semaphore class and bounded semaphore class, they will permit us to restrict the threads, 4 threads. Now here only we have permitted to access the resources only 4 threads. So first one thread started to decremented 3, second thread started decremented to 2, because second thread calls that acquire method. Third thread calls that method, so decremented to 1. So fourth thread calls the record, so decremented to 0. So now out of these 4 threads, any one thread releases the method. So now whenever thread releases the method, it incremented to 1. So after that, counter incremented to 3 means four thread releases that method. So now incremented to, okay. So like this we can do. If I change this for semaphore class, same thing happened, but here no any value, just you keep the count value here. Okay, the count value here, same thing will be happen. Same thing will be happen here. Okay, now if you change this for log class, okay, if you change this for log class, I told you that this is for log class. Log class, what it does. So if you run this code, log class, only one thread will be permitted to execute. Okay, after that, next thread will be executed. So one by one thread will be executed. Okay. So if you pass any log class, any parameter, so it will give error. It will log class takes no arguments, one given. Okay. So you need to remove this one. Now the class is over. I think this is enough thread counter created. How the thread is being incremented and decremented whenever this is acquire method of that class is being accessed by the object. So means that acquire method is being released by the your thread. Whenever the thread access this calls this acquire method, so counter will be decremented. Whenever thread releases this method, so counter will be incremented. Okay, this is the story. So have a nice day. So thank you. So I'm going to close this class.